Hi, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. We are joined by Karim Chine from Rosetta Hub, Domenico Carbone from the Atlantic Technological University, and Áine Mitchell, who is a computing lecturer from the Atlantic Technological University. And today we are going to talk a little bit about remote labs. To you first, can you, in simplest terms, to somebody, say, like me, who doesn't know anything about it, explain what remote labs are?
Absolutely. So generally, this term is used to refer to platforms that allow institutions to simulate physical labs on screen, basically. Simulate physical labs on screen, basically, instead of having a student be in front of instruments to do it online. What we mean here by virtual labs is a little bit more general. Basically, it refers to any interactive and collaborative digital environment that is operated online and that are based learning exercises. So these labs are enablers for various types of learning experiences, and they provide access to supporting technology that often cannot be provisioned locally. So typically, virtual labs are essential for teaching cloud computing technologies, artificial intelligence, IoT, and they are really absolutely instrumental to preparing traditional and non-traditional learners with the skills and competencies they would need for the jobs of tomorrow.
And Dom, can you tell me why are ATU adopting this technology? Tell me why are ATU adopting this technology now?
This is has been a process from the ATU since the beginning, and the needs of having an online platform that we can scale easily. We saw with the the pandemic how a lot of education they were basically racing to put a solution online. And this type of solution gave us the opportunity basically to implement a different infrastructure based on use case in education for different infrastructure based on use case in education for student and for lecture. And as you know, education can be very broad for learning. There can be a lot of different type of labs for students, and the ability to implement remote labs in a matter of no time, really. That give us huge benefit, not only from our workflow in the IT department, but also from the security perspective.
And Áine, listening to all this, it sounds like there would be huge benefits for both these staff and students. Could you talk to me through what they might be, specifically what the benefits might be, I suppose, starting with for the students?
Okay, so from the students' point of view, in order for us to deliver cloud modules, we need them to be able to practice and experiment and to be able to use the services and deploy the same way as they would when they're working in employment. So our projects kind of reflect what the real life use of these cloud tools. So therefore, the students within their project, they can bring to an interview that they have actually used the tools the same way as the employer would be bring to an interview that they have actually used the tools the same way as the employer would be looking for it. From a staff point of view, it means we have a reliable platform so that we can set our deliverables and our projects and our CAs. And the students, we know the students, they also gives the students opportunity to go and look at other services because it has a whole plethora of services even outside the remit of what we are delivering.
Dom, can you talk me through a bit, this falls under the Higher Education 4.0 project, and innovation is one of the themes under that. Can you tell me a little bit about how this project fits in with the innovation theme?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was saying before, the ability of giving infrastructure, entire infrastructure to students, it's very beneficial. Like Áine was saying, we can basically simulate a work environment implementing this kind of solution. Of course, the innovation is not only in the implementation of the solution, but the fact that through Rosetta Hub, we can basically have total ownership of cost, total governance of cost, we can forecast for future courses on how much we could spend, because one of the big problem in cloud computing is forecasting the cost. The cost can be very dynamic, can be very elastic. It's not always the same per month. But with this ownership that we have and the tools that Rosetta is giving, us, we can actually forecast for classes, and we can actually see the costs, and we can switch actually from capital costs, instead of doing basically putting an investment on costs on an initial infrastructure on hardware that can be very expensive. We can basically go through capital costs to operational costs, so pay as you go, basically. And that's for us, for the education, for the institution, for finance, that's very beneficial for us.
Karim, from listening to kind of everybody talk today, it sounds like there's huge possibilities with this technology that go broader than maybe even how it's been used at the minute. Can you talk me through what some future applications of the technology might be for ATU?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a vision about how cloud technologies can empower institutions like ATU in order to give students a fantastic opportunity to learn, but also to innovate and to engage in an experience that takes them to the job market. So the idea of multi and unified cloud governance, the way Rosetta Hub deliver it, is to enable every single student, every faculty member, every IT member of staff, every researcher at ATU seamlessly, as easily as going and acquiring an email address, to have access to the best of breed public cloud technologies, you name them, AWS, Azure, GCP, and to be able really to access their full capability while operating under a budget that has been set or decided by the institution. So by acquiring that like digital space, or you can call it also private data center of the student, the educator, the researcher, you enable them to go learn by themselves. You enable them to explore and innovate. And actually, the cloud computing technology today is the raw material in the IT space, in the machine learning space. So typically, giving that capability to everyone would be a fantastic booster for learning, collaboration, and engagement. So this is let's say the governance and management pillar that Rosetta Hub delivers. The way it also operates and delivers virtual labs at scale is that we use a templating framework or capabilities that make it easy for anyone to build very sophisticated virtual labs, starting from baselines that we deliver, and then from those baselines to create customizable virtual labs that can be shared and can be reused. That's something that is definitely a tool for pedagogic innovation, but also and very much so a tool for researchers to go and acquire easily very advanced computing and storage capabilities or any cloud, and use them through very advanced research workbenches and virtual research environments that they can create in few clicks on Rosetta Hub, and engage basically in different types of research that require high performance computing, that require advanced GPU capabilities, and that address or tackle problems that require access to potentially massive amounts of data. All these problems would be difficult to tackle with on-prem hardware or on-prem facilities. So the ideology that unifies, simplifies, and become a catalyzer for collaboration in an intra-institutions environment, or even when multiple institutions collaborate. So really, it's a collaborate. So really, it's a kind of full picture that we have in mind. Some of the capabilities that we deliver have been used at ATU in Sligo for almost 5 years now, and from that experience, it has been fantastic for everyone to learn and to advance the agenda of this kind of new perspective for embracing cloud technologies at scale for education. Yeah, where we are today.
Okay, and there's a couple of things in that I just want to circle back on. Dom, in terms, we hear a lot about kind of cybersecurity and compliance and that whole world that I guess goes hand in hand with what Karim's been talking about. How does that work, you know, integrating the likes of Rosetta Hub with the existing ATU IT structures, which I know obviously have got things like compliance and cybersecurity and all of that very much at the forefront of their mind?
Yeah, the compliance and execution, like it's the top of the list basically, and of course the thing that how everything was set up in even a couple of years ago, that everything it was on prem. That's basically open doors to hacking, to security. Take time to implement internally on-prem. Even from the IT perspective, you need staff, you need skill to implement those in-prem. Switching basically on cloud, and for example, in this use case with Rosetta Hub, the integration is seamless. Like there is no really real impact. It's actually making collaboration easier, for us as well as IT department to implement solution, make easier the collaboration with the lecturer as well, because the lecturer, they have needs and different needs. So you need to implement probably different labs for different lecture. And the fact that we can do this and switch the load from in-premises to the cloud, that is a secure environment, that's a big plus for us. Even from the compliance, it is very good for our point of view, because at the moment in education there is a lot of in the recent few years there is a lot of about GDPR compliance. Everything we do, everything we host is also basically in the data center in Ireland. So from that side we are covered as well. But for us, the ability, like I said it before, to implement an environment that is secure, that is a real enterprise environment for student, that's very important for the student, because they have a real experience of what will happen basically when they would go tomorrow in the workplace.
And Áine, it sounds from listening to Karim and Dom talking that there's real opportunities for students to maybe embrace independent learning and look at platforms that they wouldn't have the opportunity to look at before, or maybe look more in depth into something that they wouldn't have been able to look at before. Is that something that you're seeing coming through? Is that kind of the experience that your students are having?
Yeah, definitely. When we've, especially fourth-year projects, and the students are looking, and they'll see other services and they'll go and say, well, can we integrate those into our project and use them and therefore have a skill set when they leave the college of a cloud service that will be very much in favor for their CV and for their at seeing you know what skill set can they develop, what can they investigate more, what can they look at and maybe deploy and use and play around with, so that they can build knowledge. And I suppose from computing students, we've always noticed that they would much prefer to go and use the tools rather than read about them or even listen to us talk about them. And that's why having a working platform that they can go and they can set them up, and then they remember it once they've set it up and they've used it for a purpose. They remember what they've done and why they did it and what's the benefits of it.
One more thing that I want to come back to is you mentioned, Karim, research collaboration, which is another big theme across the ATU. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that works using this platform?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, basically, researchers are confronted with today with the need to embrace technologies such as artificial intelligence, machine learning in their research. The infrastructure becomes really an important tool, an important element of the capabilities they need to have in handy in order to interact with the research data they own or they share with other institutions. So basically, we by abstract these capability in a way that makes the researcher able in few clicks to pull the tools and to connect the tools to the data and to create environments that are immediately shareable with other researchers. And those environments behind the scene could leverage the most learning models or the best clusters for a problem that require high performance computing. So making this readily available, simple, collaborative, and reproducible is what we do. So basically, we have created on top of the different public clouds and also private clouds, a set of abstractions and environment where researchers can, in a self-service mode, go and pull any capability they need. And if they are working with other researchers from other institutions, as it is often the case. So it's one click to share those tools with others, or it's one click to share that data with others, as if you were working in Google Docs. You know, it's something that is online. Collaboration is immediately available when you need it. So the key features here are, of course, the ease of use, but also having behind the scene something that will be at every moment enforcing all the policies and compliance that is required while working on a research project. So basically, depending on the kind of collaboration that is ongoing, research data might be a certain number of rules and constraints, and those rules and constraints should be enforced at all times. All that needs to be taken care by the platform. So reproducibility, making what the researchers do easy to capture and easy to share their paper or engage with them in some common work, is also something that needs to be there and needs to be simple. So the cloud is a fantastic raw material for enabling these big use cases of research. But the cloud on its own is not enough. It's still very much so a very complex technology. So what we have done is simplify and aggregate and present what you could call the science cloud to the researcher, something that is domain specific and easy enough and delivering on the specific use case immediately. So that's what could be leveraged at scale within ITU, and basically all these different aspects of Rosetta Hub are connected. So we've been talking about the cloud governance, multi-cloud governance, which enable everyone to acquire a private data center with a budget to do anything on AWS, Azure, or elsewhere. Now we are talking about another front end or layer in Rosetta Hub, which is making this to host the capabilities that researchers need. Those capabilities are transient. So when you are done with your research or your data analysis, one click and all those capabilities disappear. And behind the scene, Rosetta Hub is making sure that all this is happening at the lowest possible cost. So enforcing the budget, but also optimizing the way those resources are being used is part of what the framework is delivering out of the box for researchers.
And I just want to add that the research, it's a one area that the ATU we're working actively, and with Rosetta Hub we are running, we start running several use cases because research, it can be a big problem for us, especially from the IT department, to manage the machine, if it's an hardware machine, but from the security point of view, from the governance point of view, and through Rosetta Hub, we can implement a very secure, basically, environment for researchers that they can share with a very limited cost.
That all is just, it's fascinating, and it sounds like it's such a great addition to ATU, and it's something that will have many uses going forward. Is there anything that any of you would like to add before we finish up today? Is there anything that I've missed out on?
I just want to say just one last thing, that for us, the way that, because I work with Karim and Áine for several years now, and for us as an IT department, the ability to give to Áine and their student an entire platform that basically Áine decide how they shape this infrastructure, because based on the lecture that she want to give, basically she structured the module, and then give the freedom, for example, for 40-year project to create whatever project they want. That's very, very fascinating, and the way of working like that without any barrier really, and in a secure environment, I think that could be a dream in the future of education, for implementing infrastructure, for implementing resources, and consider that you have these resources 24/7, because in the old days we were implementing resources, and if there was a problem, for example, Áine has to call the IT department, but the IT department is not working 24/7 in education. But in this new environment, students, they will have 24/7 access to their own platform. So I think this is fantastic from the education point of view. Maybe Áine on this.
Yeah, well, just to add to that, I suppose I've worked with Domenico on a lot of different projects, and with the last few years in Rosetta Hub, we haven't had any issue, and it's been reliable, and that means an awful lot for delivering a module, because we depend on a reliable we depend on a reliable platform, and if the platform lets us down, it means it's challenging for both the educator and the students, and we have to go and revisit the whole lot, and it causes lots of issues where we didn't experience with Rosetta Hub over the last few years, and with Domenico's help.
So yeah, it has been for us an absolute pleasure and very, very interesting experience to work with Domenico, Áine, Karim, and others on implementing and providing the capabilities needed for teaching cloud computing at scale. ATU has been a pioneer into this and recognized the importance of those technology and of teaching them really from almost the very beginning of basically the AWS, for example. We have collaborated under different programs that Amazon has established for education, and we look very much forward to taking that collaboration to the next level and basically in deploying the full capabilities of Rosetta Hub for the benefit of students, researchers, lecturers, and IT members of staff. It's a technology that can play a structuring role and can take the journey to the cloud of the to the place it needs to be in a way that is safe, where everything is under control, from finances to security to reliability. So yeah, we're really thrilled to continue this journey to continue this journey with everyone at ATU.
Thank you. We'll end on that wonderful positive note. Karim, Domenico, and Áine, thank you so much for taking time today to explain to